Hey everybody. So I suppose it's time to talk about school. Um, Damn glasses. Oh well. So for the last few years, I've been attending Colorado Technical University online. Um, when I started, was uh, I lived in Oregon. Since then, I've actually moved to the Denver area. Um, I think there's a campus in Aurora, and then of course the main campus is in Colorado Springs, which is I don't know, maybe an hour south of Denver. So uh, I just want to talk about my experiences attending CTU and uh, and all that good stuff. Okay, and wh- let me go ahead and start by saying why I'm actually uh, starting doing this video now. Let me go ahead and flip this over. This is actually my student uh, where I'm at. It's the my where my actual classrooms are. It's the CTU um, student interface. I'm not going to show you everything here, but this has my degree plan. I'm getting a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology with a concentration in software application programming. Um, right now, my GPA is 3.87. It was 3.94, and I had a really bad class. So, however, this is kind of what the classrooms look like. Okay, so uh, right here I've got software project management. This is a uh, class from my last session. I'm still waiting for my last two assignments to be graded and for that to be submitted. I believe the deadline for that is actually today. So this will actually disappear. I also had what was my other class that last session? It was the one that I messed up. But it this is where you access your classes from. The new session starts on Tuesday. Okay, and so let me go ahead and explain that. The uh, class week is kind of strange. um, the first day of class for the week is Tuesday officially. Um, on and let me just go ahead and hop in here. I'll show you. Here's my Java class. Okay, this session I'm taking two classes. Every session you take two classes, and each session is 5.5 weeks long. The This session I am taking advanced Java programming as one of my classes, and you can see over here you've got announcements, and this will fill up with announcements as the class progresses. And over here you have your to-do list. Okay, each week you have basically two assignments. Okay, the first one is the discussion board, and the second is an individual project or IntelliPath. Um, the IntelliPath is great uh, for classes that teach facts as opposed to um, teaching concepts. Whoops. So if I pop over here, you can see, we had right here, this is just my first 9 months of school. You can see I started in 2016, the end of 2016. Um, and all of these classes here, okay, um, Introduction to IT, Introduction to Algebra, Fundamentals of Networking, Analytic College Algebra, Introduction to Programming Logic. All of these classes utilized a system called IntelliPath. It's kind of a learning uh, and testing system, and it works really, really well. Okay, I have spoken with so many of my classmates over the last few years, and everyone agrees that IntelliPath, it does such a great job of teaching the information, okay, and uh, and through the testing, ensuring that you absolutely uh, uh, do have an understanding and knowledge that you have gained the uh, from the content. Um, Going back to here, pop back in here. So in classes like advanced Java programming, okay, for example, okay, in fact, for about the past year, I haven't actually had any real classes with IntelliPath. These are classes that uh, are more about concepts, okay, as opposed to facts. Any programmers out there, you understand. Um, uh, Writing a program, you know the structures, okay, you know the syntax, but putting the program together, it's really more about the concepts. And so IntelliPath doesn't really work that well for that. So what you end up doing are individual projects. Okay. The I'm not going to actually go and click on any of the assignments. I don't know if maybe CTU's got a rule about that or not. But the individual projects, they tend to, week to week, build on each other. Okay. So this week, I will go ahead and say what the individual project is here. Okay. This week, the first individual project is building the basis for a client server application, which I've already done. Okay. The class doesn't actually start till Tuesday, and I've already gone and built it. There's some details that I'll have to pick up from class and then modify the program, but for the most part, it's there. The other thing that you do is the discussion boards. Okay, you do in the first week you do 2 discussion boards. The first one is always just introduce yourself. Okay, say something cool about yourself and whatnot. Then the second one is an actual assignment, and so what you have to do, okay, like I said, the official class week starts on Tuesday. By Friday at the latest, you post your discussion board to the discussion board forum. Okay. Then by Tuesday, you have to respond to 1 or 2 of your peers. Okay, read their discussion board or um, study the content that they've posted and respond to them. Okay, and the responses need to be something um, uh, substantive. Okay, you can't just go and say, "Wow, Bob, that was a great discussion board post," and be done with it. Okay, so you want to go through, you want to read all of the discussion board posts uh, and pick out one or two that really stuck out to you. Okay, and with the number that you need to do, okay, the assignment actually does tell you how many is your minimum. You can actually go and respond to all of them if you like, but that would be pretty darn time consuming. Then the individual project is due on Wednesday each week. So even though each unit lasts 1 week, it's actually a week and a couple of days before all the assignments are due. And then generally you get grades by Friday or so. I was talking about IntelliPath, and IntelliPath does a lot of teaching all by itself. Okay, but with that said, every week you do have a live chat where the instructor will come in and teach the content for the week, and then and take any questions, and then generally they have office hours after the uh, after uh, the live chat, so that you can still continue communicating and get any last minute answers, questions answered, and whatnot. So I did go and say say that I would explain why I am doing this video now. Okay, so let's go back to this page, if this will load up. And you can see here my degree progress is 93.48% complete. This is going to jump up to about 95% when this grade comes in. And these two classes, Advanced Java Programming and Software Engineering Capstone 1, are my two final classes. They start on Tuesday, and in 5.5 weeks, I'm going to graduate. So I am at the end of my degree. So back to me. What do I really think from this experience? When I first started, okay, before I took my first class, okay, I was thinking about should I go ahead and go to college? Keep in mind at the time I was 46, 47 years old, 47, I guess, and I knew that I needed to do something, okay, and college seemed like a pretty good bet. So I started looking into some of the online colleges. I looked at the University of Phoenix and all these things, and I looked at CTU, and it seemed like they had exactly the program that I was looking for. So I went ahead and requested some more information. The folks at CTU, they were prompt and got right in touch with me. Okay. Um, of course, they've got an entire department that all that their job is to uh, contact people that are interested in going to college. Um, the they really got me started and uh, explained everything, got me I was really impressed with all the information that I was able to get, and so I decided to go ahead and enroll. And the first class that you take, and this is the first class that everybody takes, is just how to be a good student. Okay, uh, do the class. They'll teach you how to use the system. Okay, how to get logged in, how to um, you know do uh, the live chats, how to do the IntelliPath, how to do the discussion boards. Get you up to speed. Okay, now this is a gimme class. Okay, if you can't pass this class, you don't need to be here. But with that said, once that's done, then you just jump right into the schoolwork. Okay, now in my case, I did my uh, introductory class, how to be a good student class, um, and it ended uh, before Christmas, just before Christmas. It was the last session of the year, and of course, just like any school, CTU takes Christmas off. Okay, so I did that class and then had basically about 2 weeks of no school. Um, the once you get to that first session, though, um, you do your class, your session. Okay, each session is 5.5 weeks, and you do 2 classes per session. It is possible to do 3 classes per session, and I did do that 2 sessions back. I would not suggest that. It doesn't sound like it, but it is a lot more work. A lot. Grab a cup of coffee here. So, uh, uh, doing the 2 classes per session, you just every 5.5 weeks, you start a new session. 5.5 weeks later, you finish it. Generally, and it depends on the session, but you have between anywhere between um, 4 days to a week and a half between sessions, and then you start the next session. Um, the advice I would give uh, for anyone that's getting started at CTU is, take this very seriously. Your the attend the video chats. Okay, the video classrooms. If you can't attend the video classroom, because hey, we work for a living, right? And maybe you have to work at the time that your class is, and it's not the same time for every single session. Okay, it's going to change every session, so you can't go to your boss and say, "I need Wednesday at 2 o'clock off for an hour." Okay, it doesn't work that way. So there are going to be times that you're going to be able to catch those classes live. There are going to be other times when you can't catch those classes live. Every class is um, recorded. As soon as it's done, it's posted, and you can go back anytime and watch the class. Um, watch the lectures, and then if you have any other questions, you can go and email or message your instructor, and they are really good. I haven't had a thing to complain about from even one instructor. Um, and they get right back to you. I think the longest I've had to wait, they'll all go and say, it might take 24 hours, I think the longest I've ever had to wait for an instructor to get back to me is about 2 hours. Okay. They are all really good. They really care. And, um, and that's all, that's about the instructors. Um, the like I said, participate. If you can't actually participate in the live chats, watch them. Okay, that's where most of your information. That's where a bunch of your information comes from. There's always a textbook. Okay, all the textbooks are digital. So you have a reading assignment every week. Read your reading assignment. Okay, do your discussion board. Do your individual project or in telepath. And the most important thing is do it all on time. Okay, don't miss your deadlines. The deadlines are important. Okay, if you miss a deadline, okay, even by a day, okay, you lose 10% of your score. Okay, so if you write an A paper and then post it a day late, then all of a sudden your A paper is a B paper. Okay, you miss it by a couple of days, it's a C paper. All right, so make sure that you make your deadlines. It is possible to turn everything in on the deadline. That's fine. Okay. Me, I try and do my get things in before the deadline. Okay, as far ahead of the deadline as possible. And I've had access. You get access to your next classes the Friday before the classes due to start. So, I gained access to my Java programming class and actually have my first week's assignments done already. Okay, for the most part. There's a couple tweaks that I'm going to need to do once the class actually starts. But for now, I actually have my assignments done. The software engineering capstone, I know what the assignments are. I've got some of them done. There's some that I haven't got done because the classes, the individual projects aren't individual projects. It's a group project for this. Okay, and there's only a couple of classes that I've done group projects on. So I have to wait for some extra data before I can get really started on that. But get your assignments done. Do them early. Get them turned in early. The one exception to that rule that I utilize is with the discussion board posts. Okay, because there are students that don't know what early is. Okay, they don't know what deadlines are, and so they put in their post, and the post is due on Friday at midnight. Friday night. Okay. And they put in they don't do their discussion board post until Saturday, Sunday, or even Monday. Okay. Um, the uh, the replies are not as difficult as the initial post, but you still have to do them. And so, what I have been doing for I don't know about the last year is um, waiting until Monday night and then grabbing a couple of the posts from the late stragglers and um, and providing some replies to their posts so that they do actually get some replies. Um, the, uh, uh, the reply part, it's important, okay, and you can learn some things after reading the others' posts. There are a couple of times where I was completely lost, didn't understand what I was doing, and read the right post. And I go through and I read every single post, and but read the right post, and bam, all of a sudden, click, understand. Now I can go ahead and put my paper together and get it posted. Um, and once again, thank you to my fellow students who do post early, like I try to do. Um, I've kind of gone over, how it works. Okay. How I got started, and kind of gave a little bit of review about the teachers. And like I said, the teachers are absolutely fantastic. They without a single question, they all care. Okay. Uh, and it really shows. So, uh, how would I actually grade CTU? Um, I'd have to give CTU. There, I have enjoyed my time as a CTU student. Okay, um, I have uh, uh, been very happy most of the time. Okay, um, when I first got started, my student success coach would call me, just pick up the telephone and give me a call at the beginning of every session. Okay, ask me how I was doing. Ask me if I had any questions, if there was anything I needed, and if there was, and there were a few times, then he was right there. Okay, he took care of me. All right. About a year ago, my success coach changed, and um, those monthly calls just stopped. Okay. I kind of thought, wow, okay, this success coach doesn't really care. All right. Up until a few months ago, um, I took a class. Okay. And it was hard. Okay. Then I started but I finished it and I had an A. Okay. But it was really hard. Then I started the next session, and the next class seemed a lot easier. Okay. In fact, it seemed like the information I was getting from that class would have done a lot, been really, really helpful for the class that I just finished. And so I went and started looking into it, and it turns out that my schedule got rearranged somehow. And the class that I was taking was actually a prerequisite for the class that I had already finished. So I contacted my student success coach, and she agreed with me. You know, that was pretty messed up. And I had an odd number um, of classes left, and so we decided that my next session, or actually that session, okay, we ended up doing it there, but that I would do 3 classes that session, and that way I didn't have a single session, a session with a single class, which would have been bad. It kind of messes with financial aid and such if you drop down to 1 class. So we did that. Okay. Once again, that session got all my A's, but 3 classes in 1 session is a pretty heavy load, especially if you have a job. And she was great. Okay. But that's the only time that I've actually ever spoken to her. She was on top of things. Okay. She made it clear that she cared about what I was doing. And just I guess she's just got a different style. Okay. Yeah, but that is the only time I've ever spoken to her. And, you know, I like the first success coach that I had better. Okay. Just because he was much more hands-on. He actually did contact me, like I said, at least at the beginning of each session. Okay. And if it wasn't, and if there were other things that he saw that he needed to talk about, you know, then he'd give me a call. But I've been a pretty good student. Okay. Mostly A's, a few B's. And so would I suggest, would I recommend Colorado Technical University, you know, for a software engineering degree? Absolutely. Okay. I've also, you know, of course, a lot of my classes intersect with other IT type courses. So, you know, I've spoken to, you know, I've had classmates and spoken to them that are in specializations that are, you know, cybersecurity, you know, things like that. And so, yeah, CTU, absolutely fine for any of that. And I don't really have a lot of experience dealing with students that are in other areas, really. Okay. You know, I couldn't tell you about humanities. Okay. I couldn't tell you about nursing. None of you know, these are great. I'm sure that the CTU is great with them. Okay. It's just not my area of expertise. I haven't had any real experience there. But judging from my experience at CTU with my degree program, I'm gonna say that, you know, chances are that these other programs that I don't have this experience with are just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a couple of moments here and talk about next steps. So I'm graduating in June. It's in time to actually attend this year's graduation ceremony. The CTU holds the graduation ceremony once a year. Okay, this year it's on July 13th, I think. And, you know, if you graduate before X date, okay, then you're invited to um, come to uh, the actual graduation. You don't have to. There's no penalties if you don't. Okay, and you know, quite frankly, you know, if I was still living in Oregon, well, no, I'd probably still come. Okay, but somebody else living in Oregon, or someone living in New York City, or someone living in Abu Dhabi, okay, um, if you know, traveling to Denver, Colorado is not an option. Uh, don't worry. You know, you still get to take part in the ceremony. You can do it on the computer, and uh, you still get all of your regalia. You know, the captain gown, blah blah blah, and uh, uh, and that's great. Um, I'm gonna, you know, the graduation this year is actually in Denver. I actually live in Denver, so and like I said, I would have made the trip anyway from Oregon. It's not that far. It's about 1,200 miles, but it's you know, an hour's flight, something like that. Um, so I, I will be attending. Okay, I will get to walk across the stage, get my scroll, and then you don't get your diploma there. Okay, you don't get your actual degree. That comes in the mail. Um, but I will be doing that, and then so that's July, and then I've been accepted to another school, and this is about CTU, so I'm not going to get into that too much right now. But I am going to start pursuing my master's degree. Uh, Interestingly, you know, I've got the software engineering background now, and I've been working as a software engineer. Um, and in fact, before I started my first class, I had some programs on the Google Play Store. Okay, so stupid little games, but uh, you know, I've gone all this way, okay, to get into software engineering, and uh, my I'm going to be attending another college. Okay, and the only reason it's another college and not CTU is because CTU didn't have the program I wanted. But it's in computational biology, and I'll probably end up making another video about that later. But those are my next steps. Okay, so finish school in 5.5 weeks, walk across the stage and graduate in July. Probably the beginning part of August, I'll actually receive my diploma in the mail. And then this fall, start working on my master's degree. The reason I made this video is because there's not a lot of real in-depth videos reviewing CTU. And I thought that it really needed to happen. I've been overall super happy with CTU. I don't want this to come across as, stroking the CTU ego. Um, this isn't a commercial for CTU. This is a review, an honest, I've been there review for you. And, you know, uh, when it's good, it's really good. When it's not so good, there's still not much that there is to complain about. Okay, like I said, got some classes mixed up. Okay, in order, and that was the worst thing that happened to me. Okay, and even though that happened, I still got an A. So it's really, really hard for me to say anything bad about CTU. They've really done me right, and a big part of that, and I can't stress this enough, is work ethic. Okay, I understand we all have jobs. Okay, if we didn't have jobs and weren't busy and weren't being adults, then we probably wouldn't be going to CTU. Okay, put the time in, meet your deadlines, participate, and you're going to come out fine. If you have any other questions for me, please throw them down in the comments below. I will absolutely try and answer everything. All right, one more thing before we leave. Because I just all of a sudden saw a vision in my head of this question coming up. Okay, and it's about cost. Okay, CTU is not cheap. Okay, with that said, it's not actually any more expensive than a traditional school. The quite frankly, just college is not cheap. There are ways to manage the cost. Okay. Number one, try and pay as much as you can out of pocket. Okay. I understand you're going for your college degree. Money's not necessarily the big thing that you have. You're looking to make a good living. So pay what you can. Okay. CTU is not a public college, public school. Okay, it is a for-profit college, so there are rules around financial assistance. Okay, student loans and other financial assistance. But it turns out that the government says if it's a for-profit college, the student must contribute X amount. Okay, so generally speaking, I was paying like, I don't know, $500 a year. Okay, not a huge amount. Okay, $500 a year out of pocket. Okay, that the government said I have to pay. Now you can pay more. Okay, you can do the minimum out of pocket that the government says. Do the rest in student loans, grants, and things. And then if you do, pay what you can into your loans. Cut that down a little, as much as you can. And then CTU has fast track. Okay. If you're watching this video and you're this far in, you've probably seen a video about fast track. take advantage of it. Okay. Fast track lets you basically in the course of a week do some studying and some testing, okay, through IntelliPath to prove that you actually do have a knowledge and understanding of the course material from that class. If you pass, fantastic. Okay, you just went and took an entire class in about a week that number one, you're not paying for. Okay, Fast Track is free. Okay, so now you don't have to pay for that class, and you just cut a class out of the 5.5 weeks, or out of your schedule. Okay, every 2 classes, you just cut 5.5 weeks off of your degree plan. Okay, so that's 2 classes that you don't have to pay for, that you get 100% credit for, and you don't actually have to take. So you cut that time off. There's I don't know how many weeks you can actually cut off. I did quite a few of the fast tracks. I did not do all the fast tracks that I could. Okay. There were a couple of subjects that I did not have the knowledge on. Okay, so I opted to, and I could have taken the fast tracks. Okay, and the way that they're set up, I could have learned the information quickly and probably passed those fast tracks, but I wanted more in-depth information, more in-depth knowledge, so that I could actually use it in the future in my career. And so I opted not to take those fast tracks. If you take a fast track and you fail it, don't panic. Okay, it wasn't a real class. You do not have a failing grade on your record at that point. You will still have to take the class. Okay, you have to learn the material. You have to take the class and pass it. Okay, in the slow method. But failing a fast track, all that means is that you have to take the whole class. It doesn't count against your GPA or anything like that. So that's why I'm actually graduating when I am. I did take quite a few fast tracks. So once again, if you have any questions for me, throw them down in the comments below. And thanks for watching this, and I'll talk to you next time.